Welcome to the Harp-E version 3 DIY package video tutorial. For left-handed harpists, you will be assembling the harp mirrored. To begin, you need a clean and flat workspace. Unzip your case and take out all the parts. The front pocket will include the strap and buckles, if ordered, and the set of strings. The large pocket includes the main parts for assembly. Your Harp-E package includes everything you need, but some optional tools that can help are an electric screwdriver or drill with M3 and M4 hex bits. This is not necessary, but will help speed up the process. Using the included hex keys will just require more patience. A thin screwdriver or similar object. A gentle hammering tool like a wooden or plastic hammer. Scissors or cutting pliers, transparent tape, and super glue to help fix any mishaps along the way. Before we start assembling, take out the larger parts and open the black box included in your kit. This box contains all the small components of the harp. Take them out of their bags and organize them inside the cardboard box. Some grease on the metal parts is normal. Laying them out like this will also help the cardboard absorb any leftover grease. If you feel like certain areas of the wood are a bit rough, you may lightly sand those areas with fine-grained sandpaper. This is optional. Now we are ready to begin assembly. Step 1. Lever rig. This step requires the following materials included in your package: 24 levers, 2 mechanism connectors, metal rod, and 25 rubber rings. Begin by organizing your levers in reverse order from number 24 to 1, from left to right, making sure the number is facing you and the long side is pointing down. On each side of the row of levers, there should be a mechanism connector. They are placed mirrored from each other. Take the metal rod and add a rubber ring on one end. Add a mechanism connector on the same end as the ring. For right-handed harpists, we start on the left. If you are assembling the harp left-handed, start on the right. Slide in the first lever, number 24, and then add a ring. Repeat the same motion, lever ring, in reverse order from number 24 to 1 until you are done. Don't forget to add a ring after the last lever. Finish with the other mechanism connector. The rings should fit snugly in the lever indents. A small gap between the last lever and connector is normal, as wood thicknesses vary slightly. The levers can be evenly spaced out later after stringing the harp. If the total gap is very large, for instance 1 centimeter or more, you could add the spare rings to fill that gap. For instance, after the first and second octaves. Now we are done with the lever mechanism and can set it aside. Let's move on to step 2, the electronics rig. We will need the preamp. Be careful not to squish or bend the sensor cable. This funky piece of wood that houses the preamp. And a felt sticker. Let's begin by removing the plastic film on the back of the felt sticker. The film is the very thin white paper on the back. The easiest way is to gently fold the felt sticker backwards a few times until the film separates. If you accidentally remove the sticky layer, it's no problem. Just use a little super glue on the back of the sticker. Stick the felt in the round indent on the housing unit. Hold it down for a few seconds to allow the glue to stick. Take the preamp and insert it in the housing unit as shown here. The small wires should easily fit inside the grooves. Once again, make sure you are very careful with the sensor cable. The preamp unit should fit snugly inside the wooden piece without any wiggle room to avoid vibration sounds when playing the harp. If required, you can add bits of tape to the preamp unit to ensure this. Now we are done with the electronics rig and can move on to step 3. The soundboard. You will need the following parts for this step. Obviously, the soundboard, eyelets, and the thin screwdriver or any other similar object. Take the soundboard and make sure that the side facing you is the one without the groove. Insert the eyelets into the holes of the soundboard. You can do this with just your fingers, but a thin screwdriver or other pointy tool will really assist in this step. Now that we have all the eyelets in, turn the soundboard sideways and see if they are inserted all the way. Push all the way in with the sturdy object any eyelets that are still sticking out. You can gently use a soft wooden or plastic hammer if you have one, or with a normal hammer with something in between to prevent damaging the wood. Check to see if any eyelets are deformed and if everything looks good. Deformed eyelets can develop sharp edges that cut into the strings and cause them to break over time. Now let's clear our workspace and go on to step 4, the back frame. You will need the following parts: the hex keys or your electric screwdriver with M3 and M4 bit, large bolts and sleeve nuts, the smaller regulator bolts, the mechanism sheet, and the back frame, of course. This frame has a wiggly slot on the top. Grab your frame and turn the wavy slot towards you. Make it hang off the table a bit. The handle holes should be to your right. If you are assembling it left-handed, the handle holes should be to your left. Push the mechanism sheet all the way into the wavy slot. As you can see, it will meet some resistance. Take 3 of the small bolts and use them to fix the sheet onto the frame. You can use the smaller hex key. Or you can speed up this process by using an electric screwdriver. We recommend using a screw control to prevent over-tightening. Once we are done with the sheet, flip the frame. Take the harp frame and slide it almost, but not completely, off your work table. Take a large bolt and insert it into the first hole from the table onto the underside of the frame. After that, slide that part of the frame onto the table and continue with each bolt until the frame is completely on the table with all bolts in. The bolt should be able to slide into the holes without screwing. Now that we have all the bolts in, we can move on to the next step. Step 5. Frame insides. You will need the lever rig, the soundboard, spacer washers, and the electronics rig. Take the rig and make sure the pointer side points to your left. Carefully flip it, making sure nothing falls out and the wires stay in their slots. The pointer side should still point to the left. Place it over the 2 bolts seen here. Make sure the battery wires are not getting sandwiched between the frame and the electronics housing unit. Same thing with the black sensor cable. Take the soundboard and flip it so the groove faces you. The swirl in the groove should be on the left side and the straight end to the right. Check that the groove is clean of any splinters, sawdust, and excess coating leftovers. Take the sensor cable and align the tip to just before the edge of the groove, leaving about a 1 mm gap so the tip cannot be damaged when assembling the soundboard later. Gently push in the rest of the sensor cable into the groove along the full length of the soundboard. It should go in easily. Check that the groove is clear of any dust or debris that prevents the sensor from sitting at equal depth along the full length of the soundboard. Don't move the soundboard too far from the electronics rig or the cable will fall out. If you are struggling with keeping in the cable at the very edge of the soundboard where the groove turns, that is normal. Do your best with pushing it in without harming the cable. Carefully insert the left side of the soundboard into the notch of the frame. If done correctly, the cable side is down. While slightly and carefully bending the soundboard, insert the other side into the frame. Push it all the way through the notch so there's no gaps between the frame and the board. It will be under some tension, so if it's bending a little bit inside the notch, that is normal and will be fixed once the strings are on. Very importantly, double check if the sensor is neatly inside the groove and is not being squeezed or pinched anywhere. Take the lever rig and insert the connectors into the space on both sides of the mechanism sheet. Push all the way in. The levers should be pointing upwards. Take the spacers and place them over the bolts. The pointer side should be pointing downwards towards the wood. Now we are ready for the next step. Step 6. Frame front. We will need the sleeve nuts, the regulator bolts, our hex keys, or, easier, our electric screwdriver with M3 and M4 hex bits, the stand, and, of course, the frame front. Place the frame front over everything we've assembled so far. Make sure the levers are pointing up and carefully start placing it over the lever rig. Slowly work your way to the rest of the frame. check that the bolts are going inside all the holes of the frame. Take the sleeve nuts and place them on top of the bolts. Take your larger hex key or the M4 drill bit and gently screw in the sleeve nuts, only enough to keep them in place. We will tighten them in just a second. Now that the sleeve nuts are in place, we have to make sure the stand fits. Take the stand and insert it on its side. Tighten the sleeve nuts, but make sure not to over-tighten. Only tighten enough so nothing is rattling. And you can use your drill, of course, if you have one. Check that the stand can go in and out easily. Take the regulator bolts and use the smaller hex key or an M3 bit to start screwing them into the frame. If you are using the hex keys, make sure to hold the bolt in place with your other hand and use some force to get them in, ensuring the bolts create a thread in the wood. They don't have to go all the way in. We will adjust them after stringing. These bolts are tricky, so using an electric screwdriver will definitely speed up the process. Go at the lowest speed to prevent chipping the wood. This is a good opportunity to check whether everything seems in place and if there's no gaps or loose bolts. The sensor cable should still sit neatly in the groove of the soundboard. When it all looks okay, we can move on to the final step. Step 7, the tuning pins. We will need, of course, the tuning pins and our larger hex key again. Or, easier, the electric screwdriver with M4 bit. Start by placing all 24 tuning pins in their holes. You will feel that they slide in a good amount without friction. After the pins are placed, you can slowly start tightening them with the hex key or electric drill. If you are planning to use a drill, do the first one slowly with the hex key to get a feel for it. Rotate the pin clockwise while applying pressure. This pressure is crucial for the thread to catch the wood properly. Applying too little pressure will only enlarge the hole. Any sawdust appearing while you turn is a warning sign that you should apply more pressure. Screw in the pins just enough so the rounded tip just about reaches the hole on the other side. As the pin goes deeper, friction will increase. The pins should not go in all the way. They should stick out to about the thickness of your finger. For your next pin, you can use the electric screwdriver. Make sure to apply good pressure. Go very slowly and make sure not to wobble, as that could enlarge the holes, which is very hard to fix. Do the last millimeters by hand to get the right friction. You must be very careful in this step. Your pins can't be too shallow or too deep and must end up having the right amount of friction to hold strings but still be easy enough to turn for tuning. Take your time and be careful with this step. It is crucial that this is done right. We can now finish the rest of the pins. Remember to leave the last few millimeters to be done precisely by hand. Keep the stand inside to make sure it will still fit later on. Take your hex key to tighten the last few millimeters for each pin, making sure you can feel friction, but they all still turn smoothly. If there is too much friction, you can unscrew it until it's smooth, or even unscrew it completely and try again. They don't all have to be at the same height. It's fine if some of them stick out a few millimeters more than others, as long as the tips all reach the other frame half. Once you're done, take out your stand and align the holes in the tuning pins with the holes of the soundboard. This will be useful for when you string your harp later. The easiest way is to lift your harp towards you so you can see the pins and the soundboard on the inside of the frames. Now, let's do a last test. Take the battery and connect it to the cables of the preamp. Once connected, you can slide it cable first into the socket. It should slide in without much resistance and should be easy to remove and unplug when it runs out. It may take a second to find the right fit, but if it meets too much resistance, you'll need to unscrew the frame just enough so the battery can easily go in. Now, to the really exciting part. Connect a standard 1/4-inch cable to your preamp. A white light should turn on and flash intermittently. This means that your battery is full. An amber light means that it's almost empty, and red means empty. You can connect your Harp-E to an amplifier now to ensure nothing has been damaged during assembly. Tap the body of your harp to make sure the sensor is working properly. Feel free to make a beat. Check out our sound check run-through effects. Sounds good! And we are done with assembly. You did it! You are now set up for stringing and eventually regulating your brand new harp. For help with the stand, tuning, stringing, and regulating, check out our video for the String and Go package. But before that, maybe you can take a little break. You deserve it. See you soon!